When Marilyn Burns is riding off in that tractor or that pickup truck, she's earned it. Look at that blood dripping down her face. She has earned her freedom. Old boy over here has earned the right to come back with vengeance. I don't like fluffy, happy, nice. I feel like my brain's melting. We're not going on a journey here, you know? And that, for the longest time, I couldn't really talk about it because it made me seem like a bad person. But that's the way I always felt about The Blindside. I was always like, oh my God, with this movie. I remember my wife, she was like, no, I think you're going to like it because every now and then your sensitive side comes out. And I think this is going to be one of those movies that brings out your sensitive side. And we watched the whole thing and she's like, so what did you think? And I went, no, it was good. No.
Lie to her, Sam.
I can't. And I was like, oh no, she's going to think I'm a terrible person. Because I didn't think this was good at all. It's a terrible movie. And nothing happened. It's so bad. There's no struggle. It's just they just find this kid who can't do anything, and then they adopt him. And I go, Sandra Bullock adopts him. And I go, where's the meat? Where's the juice?
This is why you are so. This is why when Cody Rhodes lost at WrestleMania and I was infuriated. That's why you were just like, oh, well, where's the struggle?
Exactly. Ooh, I love Cody's struggle. And then the next night that Brock just came and kicked the shit out of him, I'm like, yes. And now it's like, yes, you've earned it. You've earned your victory. Somebody that's just like, yeah, this person, they were really good and then they won a lot. And then they won the big one, the end. I'm like, this isn't a story. What is this? What are we doing?
He got his name back. That's a struggle enough.
He always had his name. They took his dream, but not his name.
Okay.
He said it in the song.
It's the lyrics. It's the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. So you should have seen the smile that came to my face, just that there's controversy around this. And I love even more that it's unclear who's right and who's wrong. I don't know. I think that the fact that a deep wedge has been divided between the Tuohys and Michael Oher lead me to believe that there was more to this Blindside movie than we were told, and I knew that from the beginning. There's no way just out of the blue Michael Oher is like, I hate this family. Where did it come from? How did this just happen? Sandra Bullock seems so great in this thing. So Michael Oher he was a high school football player at the time. And Sandra Bullock's family, the Tuohys, they adopted him, or so he thought, in high school, right? So that he could get into Ole Miss. See, here's a picture of the real Michael Oher with the real Sandra Bullock and her husband at Ole Miss, okay? So they got him into Ole Miss, and then he ends up having this fabulous NFL career, right? And they made the movie The Blindside about him. Very nice movie. Well, this week, Michael Oher comes out, and he goes, I was never adopted. Everybody goes, what? He goes, I was tricked into thinking that I was adopted when in reality, they got me with a conservatorship. And everybody went, bum, bum, bum. Because the only thing anybody knows about conservatorships is that's that shit that Britney Spears had. And
her crazy dances.
Right. That's what happens in a conservatorship. You end up in the a giant living room doing dances from a selfie stick that is propped up here for some reason. And that is what happens when you have a conservatorship.
That's all I've seen about it.
Right. Now, for some reason, that continued after the conservatorship for Britney, but that's a totally different story. So immediately, we're like, oh, this whole time we were trying to free Britney, we should have been freeing Michael Oher. He said, not only was I in conservatorship, a conservatorship means that I was 18, so they couldn't have adopted me, but they made me sign this conservatorship, even though I thought I was being adopted, because it meant that they could sign contracts and stuff for me. They could take care of my legal affairs, I believe. That's my understanding of it. And he says they made all kinds of money on my life story and through The Blindside. And he says he didn't get a penny of it. And now he's come for his. He said, I'm from around the way. I'm leaving here with something. That's what he said. I mean,
what
I'm
the hell
paraphrasing.
took him so long?
Well, that's what the Tuohys want to know, because the Tuohys now have come back and said, all right, we're going to end the conservatorship. Fine. You don't want a conservatorship? We won't do a conservatorship. We'll end the conservatorship. But they say, and their lawyer, they have a great lawyer. Their lawyer is great. He goes, I saw this video of him. I don't think I have it. I didn't pull it. I don't think. No. But he goes, the Tuohys don't need Michael Oher's money. The husband sold his company for $220 million. What do we need his stupid life rights for? Is basically what he was saying, right? And
it's a good question.
Right. And they're saying that that they made, even though the movie made a ton of dough, that all they got was $700,000 from the movie total, more or less. And that they split it up amongst the family, and they gave Michael Oher his share. Now, technically, I do think that Michael Oher should probably get a higher share than the Tuohys, because it's not like without an NFL player, anybody's going to see the story of the Tuohys. You know, what are we watching?
Without Sandra Bullock, you're not going to watch the movie either.
You don't think Sandra Bullock could play Michael Oher? She could do anything. She's incredible.
She has the range for it.
You ever seen Speed? She's unbelievable. I mean, she played a blind woman in Bird Box. She could play the blind side. So, I guess you're right about Sandra Bullock, though. They're saying this is very suspicious because they said months ago he hit them up saying he wants $15 million from them, or he's going to go to the press with bad stories about them, which is suspicious.
It's not blackmail.
They also have pointed out that he just came out with a book that isn't doing great in terms of book sales. And so it's suspicious, the timing that he's getting this. I watched an interview from the book tour with Michael Oher, and while Michael Oher did not say anything about the conservatorship, because it was right before he came out and made these comments, he did say he didn't love the Blindside because it made his teammates think he was illiterate, and he was never illiterate. He was like, I could read. I don't know why they said I couldn't read. I could read.
I wrote this book, for God's sake.
He's like, I wrote a whole book. We're here pitching it. But then this quote, this is the first book. This is from 2011. And this I got from NBC News. And the quote that they pulled is, Sean and Leanne is another name for Sandra Bullock, would be named as my legal conservators. Honestly, I didn't care what it was called. We were a family.
Oh, he is bullshitting then.
I don't know.
This is clearly lying.
Well, I mean, but what happened then? Okay. So what happened if the Tuohys are telling the truth? Right. And they got a good lawyer. What happened where they took care of this dude and then he made NFL money, and then all of a sudden he just decides, fuck those people. How does that happen? That's what I'm more concerned with. Not regardless of who's right and who's wrong. Because it does seem like Michael Oher is not telling us the whole story. But with the Tuohys, there's no way that they were just a happy family. And then one day Michael Oher woke up and he was like, you know what I should do? I should screw over that family that helped me. Yeah, that's the ticket. What, his books weren't moving? And he's like, oh man, I thought these books would sell more. You know what I could do? I could destroy the family that raised me. I don't see, especially if it's not 100% true. Wouldn't he be like, no, it's not a good idea because that's made up. I don't see, what brought on, because they said months ago that he was trying to get $15 million from them. But they didn't say what exactly happened months ago that led us to this place. What happened, right? Because it's like, if I just hit up my parents and I was like, I want $15 million from you assholes, or I'm going to go to the press with what terrible people you are, they'd be like, whoa, where is this coming from? Like, we've been cool throughout. Like, what are you talking about? Why have you just, did you take asshole pills? What is this? Where are you coming from here?
And don't contact me directly. You contact Hot Dog from now on.
Yeah, you talk to my lawyer, Cheyenne. And they go, did he even go to law school? I go, that's the problem with you. You're still asking questions. They go, what are you talking about? We've gotten along fine. You called me last week to tell me what you were up to. What are you talking about? Like, this doesn't just go from, because in The Blindside, see, he's sad in The Blindside, but he's not sad because of the Tuohys. The Tuohys make him happy in The Blindside. So if the
make me happy.
Right, and he said, I don't talk like that. Why'd they make me talk like that in The Blindside? But if The Blindside is true, at what point did that guy who was sad but made happy from Sandra Bullock become disenfranchised with Sandra Bullock? There's a huge gap in the story. I don't care legally who was right and who was wrong. I think the entire story here is what happened in this gap to make it so he was homeless. He was running away from foster care. And then these rich Southerners brought him in and let him live in their beautiful house and treated him well, according to The Blindside. So at what point do you go, hey, you know those rich people that let me live a rich life and then I got to the NFL? I want to ruin their lives. That doesn't happen. That's never happened. There has to be something in this box here that changed it, right?
I think seeing all of your questioning and curiosity and all that stuff, this takes me back now to the movie and you sitting down with your wife and not thinking that it was good or whatever. I think you weren't patient enough because now you are eagerly awaiting the part 2.
Yeah.
Look at all these. All these questions you have will be answered if you're just patient and you wait for the sequel.
It's called long-term storytelling. You got to just let that's what they said. I go, this movie sucks. And you know what they said? Let the story play out. Let the story play out. And you're right, 100%. Once again, Hot Dog, you hit the nail on the head because now I've never been so invested. I've never been so invested. I want to, and hopefully they don't give us, this is part 2. I'm worried that part 2 is going to be a whole bunch of football nonsense, and then we'll have to wait till Return of the Jedi to get to the family breaking up. But I want to see what's happening with this family. What happened here?
Directed by Spike Lee.
I would love a Spike Lee joint that explains. And I go, you know what? This makes up for that Old Boy remake. The fact that, except then they go like, and Michael Oher, played by Josh Brolin. Why? Spike Lee's like, I just love the Goonies. What can I tell you? It's a great movie.
The Blindside 2 is a passion project for me. What can I say?
See, everybody's saying Blindside 2, Blindsided is the thing, right? But Frank S. hit the nail on the head. The Blindside 2, even blinder.
I want to let everyone know in the super chat that anything that you add in the comments is also copyrighted, so we could use this.
Oh, 100% we can use that, especially if you super chat it in, maybe I'll give you the rights to it, but that wasn't even a super chat. So the fact that I read it, even though you didn't super chat it, that means that that's mine. That's ours.